as per the request today, simply we are going to go behind some of the cyber security overviews. We are going clearly to explore what we are actually living with in our digital environment today, and this is actually based on a cybersecurity view or overview. Uh, you'll have a good understanding that you are in a very sensitive area whenever you are using the public resources over the internet or over the public networks in general, uh, through vulnerable access points that we have to recognize and how it is happening technically. We define the brute force and the dictionary attacks on the unit number two in the theory and the cryptography. Actually, the brute force attack we saw also, we defined it in the digital security course. Dictionary attack also, we defined it in theory in the digital computer security, introduction to computer security course also. Here we are going to explore them today, when we use them and where we are able to use them and where we are actually vulnerable to such group of attacks, the brute force attack or the passwords dictionary attack or something like that. They are not unique, but they are the very famous kinds of attacks. Sorry. They are all due to weaknesses available in the authentication systems. They are successful due to weaknesses available in the authentication systems only. But because of the authentication systems, either to succeed or not, based on the level of the authentication, actually, of the vulnerability available in the authentication system. So let's dig in. Let's dig in. Let's dig in. Haven't actually we are given dedicated a platform for this test, which is an online platform, which is the repl.it. I'm going to open it for you just for your for your for your visualization only. Repl.it. It is an publicly given a platform for learning purposes. It is helping individuals to code and to write actually codes to generate, let's say, secure functions and secure procedures to be utilized securely. It is a very good platform to learn secure coding, and here only we'll be able to generate secure functionalities over the web. Here we can tackle cybersecurity concerns. It's not unique, but it is one of the very famous platforms where we can learn. Okay, this is the access window. It's not the place where we are going to start from. It's not from here we're going to start from, but immediately I'm going to tackle the topics we are having in the question here in order to start from, because it is actually a very big platform that holds a long list of learning access, let's say, let me say long list of menu learning menu. So we can surf, you can surf, you can actually go behind. But for us, for today's practice, we are going to go behind the implementation of those attack techniques, the vulnerabilities behind, and we'll be sticking to those two only because of the time only. First of all, I'm going to start with the very famous one, the brute force attack, even the easy to pronounce or to go after or something like that. You have to understand clearly what is that in order to know what to search for here and here or anywhere else in the digital environment. Brute force attack is a scenario via which we are going to attack a password-based authentication system in a digital system. Yeah, using a generated random list of passwords or word lists that would play the keys to test, and the system will automate the process of testing the list of the passwords versus the username field and password field. What does it mean? Let's take an example of let's say, for example, the Facebook, this social media application. So this is a normal Facebook interface. This is actually the first and the main interface of the Facebook. Here it is. we are required to key in the username and the password in order to get in, to register, to log in. So sorry, to log in. If they are wrong, we would be notified with a message or something like that. Actually, somehow say it in English. So if your username or password are actually wrong, you'll be notified with a message. What does it mean? It means if I give, for example, my ID and I give my password, if you tell me your password is correct or your username is correct or wrong or something correct or wrong, whatever, I can guess again a second password, a third password, a fourth password, a fifth password if I know the correct username or password. Sorry, if I know the correct ID, I can guess passwords as much as I can. This as much as I can, it is a time consuming process. So I tested the password number two. I'm going to test the password number three. It will take, for example, 10 seconds or 5 seconds or something like that. I will wait. And the system is trying. It is correct. Still, I'm going to test another password. The system will test again. Another is wrong. Even the username is not accepted. What should I do? I have to keep testing again and again and again. This try of this is in the case of the username is correct. This process of testing passwords again and again and again, it is a manual brute force. It is a scenario via which you are seeing the brute force, but in a manual way. The brute force, it's exactly this process of testing those passwords against the username, but in an automated way. We're making the machine do that for us. If I'm taking, for example, 10 seconds to test one password, the system in 10 seconds, he will test, let's say, 6 or 7 passwords, or maybe 10 passwords, or maybe 20 passwords. It's much more faster than a user. In 1 hour, if me as a user can test, for example, 100 passwords in 1 hour, the system in 1 hour, he can test million of passwords in 1 hour. So it's much more faster. It is a matter of testing username with a list of passwords. Conclusion. Since we understood now, sorry, since we understood what this brute force is about, BFA, what is it about? Actually, we are actually in face of testing credentials, username and password. So testing username and password having actually a binary value, which is the user and the password. We are going to test username with a list of passwords. List of passwords. So we need to have a username and we need to have a list of passwords to use to test. And then after, we have to automate the process. We have to automate the process. This automation here is to make the thing much more faster and much more, let's say, trusted, authentic. It is a systematic process. It will not fail by typing an erroneous password. No, it will use what you give in the list of the passwords. It will not fail in typing. It will not do typos. No, it will be very accurate. Yes, so here, in this conclusion, brute force attack, to do it, we need to have a user absolutely to attack. We are going to make the attack versus a user on a platform. Let's say over a platform. Facebook, Gmail, Twitter, Universe of Nizwa, let's say EduWave platform or something like that. So we need a platform. And in this platform, we are going to attack a user using a list of passwords. using the technique which is the brute force attack. What is the brute force attack? It is to test a list of passwords, against one username, but in an automated way, systematic. Okay, what should we do? We need to have the password list, and we need to have the automation system. The automation system. 1, 2. Password list. There is a list of passwords, and we need to have the automation system that would make this test. Is it clear? Any questions here, please? Are you with me?
Yes, Mister.
Okay, Ghadir, what did I say last? Ghadir? Ghania, sorry. Are you with me, Ghania? Okay, Ghania, last call, next call, I'm going to mark you as absent. We continue. So here, I'm not going to start from here to search where is the link. Immediately, I'm going to refer to the Google to help me in doing all what I need. I'm going to refer to this famous Google to help me to reach what I need. We said to achieve this attack, we need two things, two actors, the password list and the automation system. Let's start with the first one. We need the password list. Okay, the REPL, our solution here, the REPL IT, the REPL.IT is our key solution. Is the engine where we are going to learn how to do this brute force attack and to understand it more. And through this REPL IT, we'll start by generating our password list. We'll generate a password list. So we'll make the thing actually much more easier for us, no less. Yes, a new interface actually in the Google itself. I'm gonna search for using the REPL IT. I'm gonna generate password, or let's say list, word list. Okay, word list. Maybe this one. This is word list generator. This is the one actually I may trust. I'm gonna open this one in a new tab. It is asking me to fork and to open it in the workspace. I'm going to say yes. Open. I'm going to authenticate myself using the Gmail. Yes, this is me, so I'm going to authenticate myself. I trust it. It will open. Yes. So I'm going to edit in workplace. Workspace. I'm going to fork it. Yes, to make to have a workspace proper for me. This is my account. Khalas. I'm logged in. Great. It is loading all the resources for me. Great. In this interface, yes, I trusted this one. It was this option for me, and it is the correct one, absolutely, because there are so many options, but I used this one. Why? Because actually I know it in prior, but this one is the much accurate to our needs for our practice today. What is that? Here immediately, just I'm gonna run this script. It's written in Python, just, and I will see what is it telling me to do. I'm gonna maximize the view a little bit. So here I'm gonna run, and I will see what it will tell me. It will guide me. It's an on-screen instructions. It's written in a strange language, but even though here the letters that the list of passwords are made of. Alphanumeric. I'm gonna say, for example, passwords are made of A, B, C, D, hash, exclamation mark, at, 1, 2, 3. Passwords are made of those characters, of those letters. Enter. Okay, then the smallest size of the password, I'm going to say uh, 8, 8 characters. Maximum size of the password, I'm going to give it actually 9, 8 to 9 password. 8 to 9 characters. The password is long. The name of the file to save in the passwords. I'm going to give, for example, psw psw list .txt text file. Enter. See the number of the passwords he's going to generate. It's a big number. He's generating now. The file has been created here. See, here it is. Password list.txt, two times, whatever. He's generating. I'm gonna wait for him just a few seconds. I'm gonna stop him. I'm not gonna wait because it will take time to generate millions of passwords. If you can note, let me come back up to the top. I'm not able. He's not letting me. It's a very long list of passwords generating this program. I'm not doing anything. He's by himself. He's doing that for me. I'm not doing anything. Automatically, he is generating that for me. I'll just wait for him just a few seconds to have at least one number of passwords that they are actually enough for us to use to test later on to finalize our brute force attack. He will make all the combinations of passwords possible using the characters we put at the beginning, ABC at hash dot and things like that, 123. All the combinations that they may be done using those characters, and he will just save them in this file here. In this file here. It will take time, I know, but because it's a very long. It will all the combinations, all, none can escape. Any password can be generated using the characters we typed at the beginning. He will generate. Yeah, it is combining. That's good. That's good. I'm gonna stop at this level because of the learning purposes only. You can wait later on. You yourself, when you are practicing, you can wait for him until he finishes. He will take a bit of time, but he will finish. The good thing is that it will not stuck my computer. My computer can respond still. It is not consume my resources because it is done on the cloud. It is done on the remote resources. It's not on my device. The process is consuming the remote computer process, the server, the web provider here, this REPL IT. So it is doing a good effort, but it's not on my machine. So my machine still can respond. My machine still can work. That's good. I'm going to do Control C in keyboard. I'm going to do a Control C in keyboard to stop it. I stopped it. Yes, it's enough. I'm going to check the password list, what it holds now. See the list. How much? How many passwords he generated so far in those few seconds or 1 minute? Can you read this number? 1,477,291 passwords. This was the last password generated, and here it is. So actually, it is almost the same. He was able in those few, let's say, seconds or 1 minute almost, he was able to generate 1,477,299 passwords. And still he's going to generate, still he's generating. Okay, let's say it's enough. For us now, we generated the password list. We generated the password list. Anyone that has a password from the combination we generated, the system will detect, will be able to open his account later on in the platform we specify. Later on in the platform we specify, whether it is Facebook or Gmail or Unisway Learner or whatever with us. This is actually for learning purposes only, and it is not usually successful. Remember, because there are constraints I'm hiding for you, I'm hiding from you. It is only for learning purposes. I'm explaining the technology behind the brute force attack and the vulnerabilities that the password-based authentication systems do present. We are not doing the attack for the attack purpose, but we are learning what does it mean a password-based authentication system, strength and weaknesses, and techniques how to explore that. Great. Now we generated the password list. We come to the second part, which is to automate the system. What is to automate the system? It's the attack. It is the attack to test against a user ID the list of passwords. We're going to do that. Okay, we have the password. I can copy. I can go to the beginning. Password number one, copy it, and I go to, for example, this Facebook. The username is, I'm going to say, Murad at let's say yahoo.com, and the password is what I copied now. I'm going to paste, test. It will do that. You reply me if it's correct or not. Saying the Murad at yahoo.com is a username that we're going to attack. First password, no, wrong, wrong. The password is not. You are not correct. I'm gonna copy the second password. Test it again. See how much time I'm taking. See how much time. It is a long time. This is we will avoid. This is the brute force attack. We will avoid by doing the automated way. Still doing the second password only. It will not take this much time when automated. It will take less time. This is for sure. So we will do this test, but in an automated way. We will do this test, what we are doing now, but in an automated way. So let's get the help of this triple ID again. The first triple ID we search for is the password list or the word list actually generator. Now we are going to refer to the Google again to search for the using the REPL ID. Facebook, for example, let's choose the Facebook as a platform. Facebook, I'm going to say brute force attack, and I will wait for his reply. Actually, yes, here it is. Here's the replies. Okay, I'm going to choose the first one I can trust. It is almost the same. Just a second, whatever. I'm going to choose this one. I'm going to open the new tab. Great. Okay, I'm going to edit in workspace again, as usual. Yes, I'm going to fork this way. Okay, great. This way, actually, we're able to. I believe this is not the one actually we need, but let's continue. If there is any issue, we get it, regardless. Okay, I'm gonna just run and I will see. I'm gonna run. So I'm gonna run. And then we see according to the screen instructions if it is the correct one we need or not. It is loading. It is loading the libraries to help us attack. Yes, is the one. It is asking me here, see, enter the email or the phone number that the user is using inside the Facebook. Facebook brute force. Facebook brute force. The ID I'm going to use is muradhe.com. Murad at yahoo.com. It's a per test. I'm going to paste. It's not pasted. Plus pasted. Done. Enter. Okay. He's asking me to give a password list path. We don't have. I'm going to generate a second password. I'm going to generate a second password list. I'm going to say psw.txt. Okay. The content of this PSW, I'm going to copy paste those passwords here. Control A, copy, and I come back here, paste. I'm going to use the keyboard Control V. Yes, 1,477,291 is the correct path. Okay, good. I'm gonna for the word list path. I'm gonna type this file name. This file name psw.txt psw.txt. I wrote enter. Confirm that. Yes, he's starting now. See how he's fast. He's trying. Those are not correct. If it is found, he will highlight it in green and he will stop. I will wait. I have to wait for him to finish. See how much fast he is when we compare to my manual behavior. In few seconds, he did now almost 20 or 30 passwords. He will finish them, all of them, those million passwords in 1 hour almost. In 1 hour, he will finish 1,477,000 passwords in 1 hour. Almost. It is critically fast when compared to the manual activity. So this way, he's doing. Just wait for him a little bit. Maybe he will find my password. Maybe if he can find my password. Which my password? This account. Let him try. I'll give him a bit of time. He will stop at the end of the file. Once the passwords they have been finished, those lists of passwords they have been finished, he will stop. Otherwise, he will keep going on until the end. He is now. No, he is not here now. Yes, exactly. He will not find actually. Because my password does not start with A. My password does not start with A, so he will not find. I'm sure. I'm sorry for that, for this news. But the technique has been achieved. See how fast the brute force attack can be done. So now you can understand that your accounts in all the social medias, actually the public accounts or the authentication process based on the password used, all of them they are not secure. All of them they are not secure because we generated in a few seconds almost 1.5 million of passwords, and in a few seconds we are able to test hundreds of passwords, hundreds of passwords. See the long list now in a few seconds only. So the brute force attack is very catastrophic and disastrous technique to attack password-based authentication systems. The brute force attack. I'll come back to the. I'll stop this process. Control C in keyboard. Control C in keyboard. Yes, stopped. Control C to stop. Otherwise, I will keep him. I will let him just go for all the for all the passwords available on the password list. I stopped him here. It's enough. Actually, just for learning purposes, actually, and we continue. So you can test against my ID. You can do that if you can get the password. Actually, you have to declare that you did it, and if you succeed in doing that, I will award you extra marks. This is for sure. I will give you extra marks درجات زيادة إذا تقدر تفتح الحساب مالك. إذا تقدر تفتحه درجات زيادة. declare أنك سويت الحركة. هذه دعوة أنك تحاول. Otherwise, you have to attack yourself. Otherwise, you have to attack yourself only. Good. Remember, this is for learning purposes only. Let's come back to our guide and let's see what is the next request here. Okay, we did all the requested here. Okay, actually, we will apply the second scenario actually via which we are going to apply this brute force attack or the dictionary attack or something like that, but we are going to use it through an operating system, which is a dedicated operating system for the cybersecurity and for the security activities only, which is the Kali operating system. Let's install it. Let's install this operating system. We downloaded, I believe that this one actually at the beginning of this semester, and let me check it in my directory if it is downloaded or not. I have it downloaded. Here it is. I have the Kali downloaded already. I'm going to install it only. I'm going to install it only in my virtual machine. I'm going to create a new machine. خلاص. Now for the first task we finished, let's pass to task 2, which is to do the same process, the brute force attack, but using an operating system, a complete different platform to do the brute force attack or the dictionary attack or any other security related issues or security activities. So this Ripple IT, it's one social media that helps us achieving the brute force attack practices. Let's do the same thing, but using a dedicated operating system. I'll show you how to install this Kali Linux, and by that we will proceed. I have it already in my machine. If you do not have it, if you fail to follow the first class or the first lab actually in this semester, easy. You can download the Kali anytime from the kali.org. Kali.org. So refer to the kali.org. Downloads Kali Linux here. Kali.org. Downloads Kali Linux. We search for Kali installer 64-bit. That's the one. That's the one we needed. But I need the installer, not the torrent. The installer, not the torrent. The installer here. You click it and you download it. No more, no less. I do not need it from me from now. I do not need it because I have it already. خلاص. Not the live. The installer. The installer. Great. Let's come back. I'm gonna use what I downloaded already, and I'm gonna install it in my virtual machine. Here is my VMware. I'm gonna create a new machine. Create new machine. No updates usually. Remind me later. I'm gonna use the ISO file. So for it. This is the Kali in downloads. Point it. Open. Next. It's a Linux distribution. Ubuntu. No, it's a Debian. Which is the highest Debian available. Yeah, okay. Debian, okay. Next. 64-bit. Yes, I'm going to change the name here to be Kali. Kali Linux. Okay. Next. It is said that there is a name on that. I'm going to use a second distribution. Kali Linux OS. Okay. 20 GBs is okay. 520 for the RAM. No, I'm going to modify. I'm going to give it 2 GBs. 2 gigabytes. 2 gigabytes have been modified. Yes, great. I'm going to finish. It will launch. Okay, play here. No updates usually. Remind me later. Okay, click here and using the keyboard arrows, move to the install here. Install and enter. And we will follow the instructions on screen using the keyboard only. Okay, English. It's United States English. It's okay. American English. Okay. I'm going to maximize this window to make it more visible to you. Okay. I'll wait for the instructions that would appear. They have to appear. Just wait for the instructions only. there is a strange behavior here, so I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna interrupt it to avoid any. I'm gonna interrupt everything. Sort of to check what's the problem. I'm gonna gain space, so I'm gonna close all the windows to gain space in this computer and release the processor. That's for because it does not have to stop like that. I'm gonna restart the thing. Here it is. I will find here it is. I'm gonna restart it and continue the process. So here, no updates. Go to the install. Okay. English, United States, American. Seems to be I have to restart the machine even. So very quickly, I'm gonna just restart the machine. So I'll interrupt a little bit and I'll come back to you. Just give me a chance to do that. So meanwhile we are waiting for this machine to start. Any questions, please? You interact with any requests? Actually, in here for this practice only for this Kali, you'll have to install it in your virtual machine. Otherwise, you'll not be able to practice because you are not going to install the Kali on top of your hard disk directly in order to avoid the partitioning problems, the file system problems. Just you have to use a virtual machine and everything would be solved. It still did not load yet. We'll give the machine the chance to restart only. Yes, here it is. Yes, I'm gonna log into my machine. You may face the same issue actually. You'll have to do the same step if needed only. Okay, just give it a second to refresh. Wait. And the minute I'm going to refer to my virtual machine. Continue the process. The Kali Linux OS. I'm going to start it, double click, and continue from where we start. No updates. Install. English, American, yes. Okay, I'll give it actually the chance to appear. Otherwise, I would give you actually the chance to download it, and later on I'll record you the steps of the installation. I'll check the error with me. What is the problem here? Because it does not have to take all of this time. while starting the installation. So I'm gonna stop the recorder for now. For now, I'll give you the chance to practice on the REPL.it until I fix the issue of this virtual machine. Later on, I'll tell you. Actually, it's an on-screen instruction only.